I'm Suruthi Vijayasi, currently pursuing my MBA at IIM Trichy, Chennai campus. To my cohorts and Professor Saman Majunda, thank you for this opportunity that has led me to reflect on our Indian economy and policy course. When Professor encouraged us to explore a topic that resonated with us, I immediately knew I wanted to dwell into significance of India's demographic trends. Particularly the fact being that average age of Indian population is now around 30 years old. This topic intrigued me for several reasons. On one hand, I believe this demographic opportunity has the potential to shape India's future in profound ways. On the other, major part of it is because as we studied India's economic horizon, Arvind Panagria's India, the Emerging Giant. After our course, it became clear that India is at a pivotal moment in its economic history, as this will shape the country's economic and political future for generations. I started thinking about the role of population in this narrative, especially when we discussed how different factors such as poverty, industrialization, and economic reforms have shaped India's growth. As part of the course, we studied everything from India's early economy during the Mughal era to the East India Company's role in shaping modern economic policy. We were constantly reminded of the importance of understanding the long-term effects of demographic shifts. Our professor provided us with invaluable insights into how population dynamics interacts with economic policies and historical shifts. He emphasized the importance of understanding how historical transitions and external factors shape economic outcomes. With all of this, and a key takeaway from Panagria's book was how India has vast untapped potential because of its young population, which is said to be one of the largest working age groups globally over the next few decades. What really piqued my interest was an audio as part of a course, Can India Become the Next Global Superpower? Where there were comparisons between India and China, both massive economies, but with different demographic trajectories. And I personally have this habit of take all the learnings I've had at class and spam my family with details and have great conversations. On one such occasion was a conversation with my father, who compared India's current situation with Japan. He pointed out that Japan was once in a similar position with a young and growing population, saw a period of rapid growth, but is now grappling with the opposite problem, a shrinking aging population and a declining workforce. This got me thinking, could India face the same challenge in the future, or do we have the opportunity to avoid Japan's pitfall by learning from their experience? This led me to more thinking more deeply about the consequences of not planning for the future. Japan's situation is a prime example of what can happen when a country fails to adequately prepare for an aging society. And I believe this lesson is highly relevant to India's current stage of development. India's current demographic profile offers a rare opportunity for economic growth. As the average age of population, as I said, is only 30, this means that a large percentage of population is working age, which can generate substantial savings, investment, and consumption. But the question is, how can India maximize this opportunity? This led me to investigate three critical areas India must focus on to fully harness its demographic dividend: education and skill development. As to start with, Panagria pointed out in his analysis, India's education system still faces significant challenges. A young population can translate into economic growth if it's well educated and skilled. India needs to invest heavily in both higher education and vocational training to ensure its workforce is equipped with the skill necessary, which is again for modern and tech-driven economy. Without this investment, India risks wasting its demographic advantage. The second one would be the employment opportunities. Though we have a large workforce, we also need jobs. India need to create millions of jobs, especially in high potential industries like technology, manufacturing, and services. The Make in India initiative is a step in the right direction, but it needs to be scaled up significantly. Additionally, the rural-urban migration is putting pressure on the urban infrastructure, making it essential for India to also develop its rural and improve agriculture productivity to ensure balanced growth. The third one would be health and social infrastructure. Healthcare is another area that India must prioritize. A healthy workforce is a productive one. Investment in healthcare will not only ensure that the current populations remains productive, but also prepare India for the future. When the population starts to age, Japan's healthcare system has been stretched by its aging population. And India can avoid this by making early investment in preventive care and healthcare infrastructure. Now let's look at Japan economy. Like, they did thrive in 1950s to 1970s due to its youthful workforce. But over time, declining birth rates and longer life expectancies have led to a rapidly aging society. Today, Japan faces slower growth, rising healthcare costs, and increasing pension obligations. The question that strikes is what we can learn from Japan. Again, three important lessons India can learn from Japan experience would be economic slowdown and productivity. Japan's shrinking labor force has led to decreased productivity. With fewer people working, economic output naturally declines, and the country had to rely heavily on automation and technology to maintain its current productivity levels similar to the older ones. This is a lesson for India. While our population is young now, it won't stay that way forever. If we don't focus on long-term planning, including technological advancements, India could face a very similar challenge down the line. And the second thing would be role of women in the workforce. One area where Japan has historically struggled is integrating women into the workforce. In India, the situation is even more stark, with one of the lowest female labor force participation in the world. By encouraging women more to join workforce, India could significantly increase its productivity and economic output, making better use of its demographic dividend. And the third one, which I wanted to focus on, was immigration as a policy tool. Japan's restrictive immigration policy have also exacerbated its demographic challenges. India, with its cultural diversity and young population, could adapt more flexible immigrants policies to supplement its workforce as it begins to age. So we can learn that from Japan's experience. So what does India need to do to fully harness these demographic opportunities while avoiding the challenges that Japan currently faces? And my 4 key recommendations would be: invest in innovation and technology. India needs to aggressively invest in technology and innovation. A young workforce is most effective when it is productive, and productivity can be amplified through automation, artificial intelligence, and technological advancements. Technology can also maintain productivity when the population starts to age. Second one would be structural reforms. India's labor market really need reforms to create more flexible and encouraging entrepreneurship. This includes simplifying labor laws, reducing bureaucratic red tapes, and creating a more conducive environment for business to grow and hire. These reforms will be crucial in creating jobs and sustaining economic growth. Savings and investment. As we saw with Japan, high saving rates during its demographic peak fueled investments in infrastructure and industry. India needs to encourage saving and channel this savings into productive investments. Strengthening the financial sector and improving access to credit can ensure that savings are again efficiently deployed into the economy. It's the cycle we are talking about. And preparing for aging. Finally, India must prepare now for the inevitable aging of its population. Strengthening pension systems, healthcare infrastructure, social safety. These would ensure that India is not overwhelmed by the challenges that come with an aging society. Japan's experience shows us how it is important to plan for the early stages. So those were the 4 points which I wanted to recommend about on. And in conclusion, India's demographic dividend presents an incredible opportunity, but it's one that requires careful planning and strategic investment to fully realize it. By learning from countries like Japan, which have already experienced the ups and downs of demographic transition, India can chart a course towards long-term growth and prosperity. This lesson we've learned in the course shows that demographic is not a destiny, they are a window of opportunity. India must seize this moment to build a stronger, more resilient future. Thank you.